been able to sort of help create. We are not the creators, we are only the catalyst where we motivate things, we do things to help entrepreneurs get the capital they need from the channels or from the savers who save money. It was not supposed to happen in India. Even now, it is very difficult to actually think that India has such a market. In terms of the size of the market, India is now the fourth largest after US, China plus Hong Kong. Many of us, including Bloomberg, have not got the news that Hong Kong is part of China. So they keep on showing India as the fifth rank after Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is actually China only. So it's after US, China plus Hong Kong, Japan, this is the fourth largest market, $3.8 trillion. And per capita income is around $2,600 to $3,000, whichever way you look at. Assuming we had like $2,500 per capita income, there is no similar country in the world which has similar markets. There is no country in the world which has a similar market with $5,000 per capita income. There is no country with $10,000 per capita income which has similar markets. There is no country with $20,000 per capita income with similar markets. Only one country is there called China, where markets go down, government goes and buys. Effectively, there is no similar example in the world where people trust their entrepreneurs. In a poor country like ours, per capita income-wise, we are considered poor. But a person sitting in Jorhat, person sitting in Dibrugarh is putting our hard-earned money in a company which is manufacturing, having a manufacturing plant in Salem in Tamil Nadu. They are never going to visit that company. But they have a complete trust in the information you provide as investment bankers. The companies that provide continuously through the compliance with LODR regulations, that whenever the company makes profit, they will have that small sliver, small share, which they are holding in that profit. It is such a great leap of faith. Poor people don't invest in other poor people. You ask, poor people, when they ask their brothers don't have the money. They might be investing somewhere, but not in brothers. In this country, people who are seemingly poor are investing in other poor people, because even our entrepreneurs are not that rich today. But they have complete faith and trust. It has not happened overnight. It has taken 150 years. The first exchange in India was set up in 1875. So you are carrying a legacy of 150 years, but it is also a situation where we are all drinking out of the same pond, the pond of trust, as I call it. What we are manufacturing as an industry is trust. That includes the government of India, that includes parliament, that includes courts, that includes police systems. Because ultimately we deal with people's money which has to come back. Unlike buying a fridge or television or mobile phones or even grains, our money, what we collect and give it to entrepreneurs, is actually supposed to come back or produce something more. And that is where we produce or we manufacture trust. And trust is extremely difficult to create. It's extremely easy to lose. So for me, this has happened because of the government, the Ministry of Finance, the courts, the police system, but also largely to SEBI's proactive regulation. So give them a big hand for taking us through many of these regulations the industry may not like, but it is for our benefit. 29 years, SEBI probably got the powers in 1994, although it was set up in 1989. So it's almost 35 years, or 1988. So it's 35 years since it was set up, but the powers came sometimes later. And that 35 years or 30 years, give and take 1 year, is where the level of trust that has increased. Gone are the days where people were afraid of investing in stock markets. Today, we have 8 crore direct investors in the stock markets. 8 crore unique PAN number. We are the only, the large ID market in the world, where we know exactly which person is placing orders, at least on whose behalf the order is being placed. We know their phone numbers, we know their addresses, we know their email addresses. Hopefully they have not given fake. But we are the ID market with 8 crore investors, probably will become 9 crore soon. And this is unique. Of course, NSE has 16, 17 crore accounts. But if you remove the duplication, it is 8 crore. And today, if NSE was a country, it would be 20th largest in the world. So that is the kind of numbers, and it's increasing. Most of these new investors have come over last 3 years during COVID and post-COVID. And mobile phones and other things have actually helped, mobile applications, that more people are now saving through the stock markets. And this 8 crore investors is actually 5 crore households, 5 crore unique households, which is 17% of India's all households put together, directly investing in Indian stock markets, and largely their entry is through IPO market. So I commend the AIBI and all its members for ensuring that capital formation remains the most important pillar of running of these markets. In terms of the growth that is going to happen, my understanding or my studies suggest that technology is the only change that happens in the world. Technology is the only cause for creating wealth. Wealth is a social concept. But any society which develops new technologies, or more importantly, adapts to new technologies, is a society which is going to create more wealth vis-a-vis other societies. When the technology race was being run over the last 1,000 years, India was not even in the stadium. It was not even in 10 kilometers periphery. Today, when technology race is being run, India is at the front and center, on the first row. And that is what we have achieved over the last 30, 40 years of liberalization as a country. It's not an individual's activity. It is a collective thing. Of course, the government has helped by setting up infrastructure, by promoting some of the investments into high-tech, into mobile telephony and other things. But overall, the technology is what is going to change. And technology, waves used to come slower earlier. They would come over 100 years, 1,000 years. Today, those waves are coming in 10 and 20 years. And that's where more and more wealth is going to be created going forward. That is also a reason why the concept of capitalism came, capital markets came, is because you required large amount of money to invest to create large amount of profits. That is what I call capitalism with capital. Today, the new technology allows to create large amount of wealth without putting large amount of capital, but little bit of capital is required to be put in, and that is what I call capitalism without capital. The modern technology allows you and me, individuals, with very little capital, to actually invest their brains, somebody's small little capital, and then create companies. And India, it's not only Google or Facebook that have done it, but India has now many examples. In our own generation, we had Nandan Nilekani and Narayan Murthy, who came from nowhere, no business background, no business families, and still created a company which made them billions of dollars, but also spread those billions of dollars amongst investors. And that is what created what I call collective capitalism, the collective trust that is now accelerating in the world. But the country which is designed by quirk of fate to take maximum advantage of that activity of accelerating technology, raising small little capital for entrepreneurs, and then creating large wealth, creating large number of jobs, is what now going to happen. And our investment bankers, our stock markets are well placed, and of course our regulators and regulatory system is now well placed with 150 years of official history, 200 years of overall history of stock markets is what has brought us here. So for me, the good days are going to come for all of us, for all our investors. But if good days come for us and not for our investors, that's not a good idea. So let's pray and of course work hard to ensure that only good companies come to the markets. All of us have fiduciary to all our investors to provide the correct information, right information, provide timely information, exact information, and what the regulators want in detail. And that is what I would urge our investment bankers, so that what you are doing is absolutely important for India. And without you, it is very difficult to imagine that India will go from now on to say becoming $5 trillion economy or $20 trillion economy or $40 trillion economy. And we are, again, one of the unique countries where market capitalization to GDP ratio is 1:1. Not many countries have that kind of thing, which means more of our activities are becoming financialized. 1 out of every 3 rupees Indians consider as wealth is now represented by NSE, represented by you. You take all the walls, all the buildings, all jewelries, all the buckets and all the tables and chairs and everything of India, and 1/3 of that is now coming out of what you guys do. So thank you very much for doing what you do, and thank you very much for coming here today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would request you to be on stage. Can I please request Dr. Milind Dalvi, the CEO of AIBI, to felicitate Mr. Ashish Chauhan. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause? It's so interesting to know that when NSE started near Diwali, we were on the 15th, and today we are the 4th largest $3.8 trillion economy, and NSE continues to manufacture a trust to 8 crore investors. So there's more that we would like you to do. Mr. Chauhan, there's a surprise for everybody. We have a lucky draw powered by AIBI, and I would request Mr. Chauhan to come back on stage and pick up a slip. So one of you gets to get a gift. Can we please have the slips? Okay, so we pick up one chit, and could you please read out the number for me? All right, that's number 56. ICICI Securities Limited, Mr. Rupesh Kant. Are you here?